भद्रं कर्णेभिः शृणुयाम देवाः भद्रं पश्येमाक्षभिर्यजत्राः स्थिरैरङ्गैस्तुष्टुवागुंसस्तनूभिः व्यशेम देवहितं यदायुः स्वस्ति न इन्द्रो वृद्धश्रवाः स्वस्ति नः पूषा विश्ववेदाः स्वस्ति नस्तार्क्ष्यो अरिष्टनेमिः स्वस्ति नो बृहस्पतिर्दधातु। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। हरिः ॐ।
Dear friends, welcome back to the study of the Mundaka Upanishad. We were revising or summarizing from the first shloka, and we have completed the first section of the first Mundaka. I will address it as that. I'll name the Mundaka and the two sections in each Mundaka. We have started the study and we have come up to the end of the first section of the first Mundaka. I will only revise and refresh your memory as to what was our last discussion. The last discussion was that Maharishi Angirasha took upon himself to explain to us by proper choice of words. And as you know, each and every word has a meaning and it explodes in our brain. When we hear a word, immediately the meaning explodes in our brain. Now, the ultimate reality has been described as it is not perceptible by the five sense organs, jattadadresham agotram avarnam asotram. And on the other hand, it is nityam vibhum sarvagatam shushukshmam yadbhuta yonim. It is nitya, means it is eternal. Vibhum, it is all-permeating. Sarvagatam, saturates everything in this world. Shushukshvam is subtlest of the subtle, and from which this whole cosmos has come up, and it goes into it, goes back to it. I'm sorry. This concept of coming out of it and going back to it has been explained in the Chandogya Upanishad and referred at many places. Now, dears, what does it mean? It comes out of it and it goes into it. That is the substratum. Sarvagatam shushukshmam yat bhuta yonim. Bhuta yonim is the base, the foundation, the reason, the cause from which it comes out, into which it goes in. Tasmat jayate tasmin liyate. And then Jayate is a jakara and liyate is a lakara, has been taken together as a symbolic word. Tasmat jayate tasmin liyate tat jalam shanta upasita. This is a very, very good statement from the Chandogya Upanishad. Some of you had sent me a note, an email, asking me to complete it and define it again. So it is from the Chandogya Upanishad, and from there it is said the whole cosmos comes out of it. And the whole cosmos dissolves into it, disappears into it. That is the nature of the Absolute. He is using words. We who are very much involved in this world, for us, it is almost like a riddle, almost like a puzzle, almost like an enigma. What is that? So let us, a little deviating from the subject, but let us complete this idea. Do we have any worldly example that it comes out of it and it goes back into it? Do you have any example? The stock example is a piece of rope, almost the size and shape of a snake in a curved manner, is lying on the floor, on the ground. It is dusk time, not very bright, and you are passing by. Your eyes fall on that object. Let us not say what that object is. There's an object I know, for the sake of example and exemplification, it's a piece of rope. But it is lying on the ground in such a manner of size, shape, and etc., it resembles a snake. I look at it, I don't look at it with great attention. I just casually look. And what impresses me? The size, the shape, the way it is lying of a snake. Resemblance, sadrishya is the resemblance. As soon as that resemblance comes to me, and immediately, because of my self-preservation, instinct of self-preservation to be alive, I see a snake in it because of resemblance. And as soon as I am convinced it is a snake, my behavior pattern undergoes a change. I howl, I shout. Out of fear, my heart comes to my throat. I seek for help. And neighborhood people, the neighbors, they come running around. What's wrong? What's wrong? With a lamp and a few sticks. That's a snake. And they accept my statement, it is a snake. And they started to kill the snake. After a few beating, they find there is no animate reflexes in the snake. When you beat a living creature, in pain it reads and etc., there is no animate reaction on that object. They bring the light closer, withhold their beating, they see, and they see intently, and they say, "Oh dear me, Swami, you have taken us for a ride. It is a piece of rope, not a snake." And all of us heave a sigh of relief. Oh, it's a rope and not a snake. This is an example. Now, let us get into it. Where does that snake come from? It is a rope. Before I saw it, it was there. When I am seeing it, it is the rope. And I create a snake out of that object. A piece of rope. I have created because of my inattentiveness, because not seeing the thing in its proper perspective, and because of instinct of self-preservation, I imagined a snake there and I superimpose the snake on the rope. I have created the snake because of my ignorance of the object, the rope. I have created a snake, and the snake is real to me, and because of my words, it is real to all of you. And ultimately, we find out, after analysis, it is a piece of rope. Where did the snake disappear? It disappeared in the snake rope itself. It came out of the rope because of my ignorance, and because of my true knowledge, it disappears into the rope. Tasmat jayate, tasmin liyate. It came out of it and it entered into it, disappeared into it. To that object, Shanta Purusha Upasita, they pray. This is an example. So when we say, Jat Bhuta Jonim Paripashyanti Dhira, Dhira people means people with wisdom, people with that insight. They see that this world is a manifestation of the divine, and when you take away the adjuncts, the divine remains, the world disappears. What does it mean? It means, let me go a little forward, it means, how do we perceive this world? And our whole life flows on that perception. The perception is, I see it with my 5 sense organs. I hear, I see, I touch, I smell, I taste. These are the qualities that I absorb and I say, it is there. Now what is it there? It has a name, it has a form, a shape, a size, it has some qualities, and it has a utilitarian value in human society. These 4 concepts, Nama, the name, Rupa, the form, Guna, the qualities, and utilitarian value is Arthakriya Karita. All of us have a utilitarian value. We have a name, we have a form, and we have a utilitarian value and qualities. And with these 4, we jostle around in this world, roam around in this world. But behind these 4, we generally accept, without any observation or distinction, the existence of the thing. It is, and I know its existence, its isness by the name, the form, the qualities, and utilitarian value. When I withdraw these 4, what remains? Isness and existence remains unqualified. That is, it is adreshyam, agotram, avarnam, tadachakshupanipadam. It has neither the 5 sense organs nor the 5 active organs, but it is nityam vibhum sarvagatam sushukshmam. That is how, in Nirvikalpa Samadhi, by proper education and discipline, by concentrating your mind on an object, after a prolonged, intensive, disciplined search, disciplined persuasion, you reach that goal when the whole world disappears. What remains? That which is experienceable, not describable. Amness, I am, I exist. This much is Para Vidya Vishaya, the subject matter of sublime knowledge, and not so sublime, indispensable knowledge is Apara Vidya Vishaya. The Upanishadkar, Maharishi Angirasa, thought it fit that he will first describe to us what is Para Vidya Vishaya. What is the reality, what is the truth, what is the absolute existence. In these 9 shlokas of the first section of the first Mundakas, he has described it and we have thoroughly studied it. Now this section, the second section of the first Mundaka, will now describe to us what is Apara Vidya Vishaya. Not so sublime, not comparable with Paravidya, the sublime knowledge. It is, in a broad sense, worldly knowledge. Any branch of knowledge that the human being in the human society, since the dawn of civilization up till now, has established various branches of knowledge, is establishing as of today, and will continue to establish till the civilization lasts. This whole gamut of knowledge appertinent to the nature and to the cosmos falls under Apara Vidya Vishaya. And he says all that is mentioned in the Vedas and Vedangas. We have understood that. What is Apara Vidya Vishaya? This second section of the first Mundaka, which has probably 12 or 13 shlokas, I am not very sure. Let me check up. It has 13 verses. In these 13 verses, up to the 12th verse, up to the 11th verse, from verse 1 to verse 11, Maharishi Angirasa, the author of this Mundaka Upanishad, will explain to you in great detail what is the concept of Apara Vidya Vishaya, object of Apara Vidya, not so sublime, but indispensable knowledge to live and have your being in this world. In a summarized manner, in 10 shlokas, he will explain to you last 2 shlokas at the 8th, 9th and 10th. He will describe to you the flimsiness of this knowledge. We'll come to that. Let us start reading it. The first shloka had introduced you. The Vedic literature is broadly divided into 2 sections. One known as the section of Karma Kanda, the ritualistic life that the Vedas enjoin. If you follow, after death, you'll have a long, long life in heaven, enjoying yourself the good deeds of your lifespan. He will explain to you in great detail, and he will tell you what are the necessary disciplines, and he will warn you. If you do it in a slipshod manner, if you don't do it correctly, not only you will not have the good results, because of non-performance in a correct manner will create problems for you. It will bring curses on you instead of rewarding you in a long life in the heaven with God. He tells you that. So let us now start. What are we starting? Apara, Vidya, Vishaya. What is the object matter of not so sublime but indispensable education? To live in this world and live in such a manner that you live in a disciplined, proper way and you create karma phala, you perform karma, duties of life, you create karma phala, and that karma phala takes you to the heaven to give you peace and joy. What happens thereafter, I will not tell you now, it will come along with the text. So let us read the first shloka. He introduces Tat etat satyam. From the worldly point of view, this is apparently real, not absolute reality. Apparent reality. What is apparent reality? As I feel today, this world is real to me. When I pinch myself, I feel the pain. That is real to me. That is, all that is perceptible by my 5 sense organs is real to me. All that is perceptible by my 5 active organs is real to me. That is real to me, but mind you, that is not the absolute reality. It appears to be real. Apparent reality. Tat etat satyam here means this world is an apparent reality for us. What is it? Mantreshu karmani kavayo jani apashan. Kavayaha, the seer of truth, relative truth, seer of this world. They have apashan, they have seen through this ball game and they have enjoyed it, they have experienced it. Who are they? Kavi, Krantadarshi, who has seen the end of this ball game. What is that ball game? We were not during the dawn of civilization when the society was living in the forest, in the Arjavarta region. Let us forget about other places of the world. We are talking about our own culture. In the land of the Aryans, Arjavarta, when the Upanishads came into being, we were living in the forest. The society lived in nature, lived with nature, interacted harmoniously with nature, never deviated from laws of nature. They never disturbed nature. They were product of nature. They lived with nature in harmony. And at that time, the thinkers evolved a procedure. Why they had to evolve a procedure? Because there are 2 types of humans. What are they? One is an extrovert, bahirmukhi. They want to see the world and enjoy the world. They enjoy the fruits of their hard work. They are not bothered about anything else. and they are a majority of humans. You can't deny their existence. They must also be shown a way how to live. Freedom and responsibility is a sign of civilization. They go hand to hand. Freedom without responsibility is a life of an animal. Freedom with responsibility is a life of a man, most evolved biological creature. People saw through it. So they say, let us discipline the most evolved of all biological creatures known as a human. Right from the morning till you go to sleep, your life is organized, which is a must because you are a human being. Organized for your welfare, for the welfare of your family, and the welfare of the society to which you belong. That disciplined way of life and living, interacting harmoniously with nature, is known as the injunctions of Karma Kanda. The section known as instructions of life and living. No freedom. Your freedom is to perform your duties of life in a particular manner, and because of this correct performance of your duties, after death you will enjoy eternal life in paradise. That is the Apara, Vidya, Vishaya. That is the subject matter of not so sublime but indispensable worldly knowledge or wisdom. People have seen through this ball game. Kavi, Krantadarshi, they have seen through the ball game. And they have enunciated all these instructions in the three Vedas. Rig Veda, Yajurveda, and Atharva Veda. Especially Yajurveda, where the concept of Yagya has been enunciated. What is Yagya, dear? Let us be very commonsensical. Let us try to understand these abstract concepts in a robust, modern, commonsensical manner. I find that if I violate the natural flow of movement of energy in this cosmos, I create an imbalance. And that imbalance is of such a magnitude by accumulation that things happen in nature which is perilous for my life. My life is in peril, is in danger. So they knew these are the principal forces of cosmic energy in nature. Indra, Varuna, Agni, Prithvi, and so on, Vayu, and so on and so forth. Elements of nature. Khiti, Apteja, Marudbo. And as God created it, they move in a balanced manner. And now today, having spoiled that nature, the human society is very much aware of ecological balance, to reduce pollution, to reduce heating up the world with fuel gases. Now we are talking about it. But our ancestors, thousands of years ago, they accepted, as God has created this world, let us follow it. Let us not disturb it. And not only we do not follow it, we follow it with respect and we offer our respect to them. And particular actions known as Yagyas and Yagas were enunciated where you propitiate, keep in good humor the god of rain, the god of fire, the god of wind, the god of water, the god that is my mother, this earth. Those were known as Yagas and Yagyas. The difference is there, but it's immaterial for us. With animal slaughter and not animal slaughter. With offering, without offering. Anyway. And it was said, as for instance, Agnihotra Yaga. At the break of dawn, you must perform these rituals. That is how your day will start. Perform your duties in such a manner you do not violate any laws of nature. Carry on with the duties of life. There are 4 stages of life: Brahmacharya, Garastha, Banaprastha, Sannyasa. Each stage of life had an ordained list of duties, of do's and don'ts. That was how our society was organized, disciplined. And we all followed that. And because of that, the nature was bountiful. One crop which took, say, 90 days of a year gave us 275 days to be introspective. We have enough to eat after 90 days of hard work, and the remaining 275 days we had the time to look and enjoy the nature and think why and how of everything. That is why this type of life gave a food to the introverts, antarmukhi. What is this world? Who created it? As the world is of infinite dimension and an infinite play of energy, so the person who must have created it would be of infinite capacities. Sarvabhaga Sampanna Bhagavan, 6 qualities: Jnana, Aishwarya, Bala, Vidya, Teja, Shakti. And of infinite dimension. He is the creator of the world. And He is looking after us through all these avenues, the forces in nature. And we live because of their compassion. They are kind out on us, they are understanding, and we don't disturb them, so we are enjoying the creation to the fullest. But with our rationality, when for 90 days we are busy for our livelihood, we have enough to eat, enough time to think. That thinking section of the Vedas is known as Jnana Kanda. Karma Kanda and Jnana Kanda. That is how the Veda is divided. Apara Vidya Vishaya is to be found in Jnana Kanda. In Karma Kanda. Pardon me. Apara Vidya Vishaya is to be found in Karma Kanda, which is the subject matter of this second section of first Mundaka. And I am introducing the subject to you so that you are not in quandary. You don't understand head and tail of it. And after having their food for the whole year, they started looking around and started asking why and how, what for of everything. Why, how, what for, when? All these questions started asking. And rationally and logically, they tried to come to a conclusion. And slowly you will find in the Vedas that there we start as admirers of nature, appreciators of nature. We are obliged to the bounties of nature. With that obligation, we want to propitiate them so that they can be bountiful towards us. Just like a human, a man who has potential capacity to help you, you want his help, you don't irritate him. You always keep him in humor. That very idea was projected there. As human as that. That is how the detailed Karma Kanda developed. To fulfill all the world of wishes that you have expecting from the world. This is what it is. And the Jnana Marga, the Jnana Kandi Purushas, they have nothing to worry. They had enough to eat, enough to live. Everything was in harmony. So they kept on using them. Why, how, when, what for? All these questions. And slowly, from admirers, from observers, appreciators, admirers of nature, and admiring it, they know we should keep them in good humor. We start propitiating them, worshipping them, telling them, please be bountiful and kind and compassionate to us. Because they see what lightning is, because of lightning what bushfire is, they see what storm and thunder is, they see what earthquake is, and they say these are all plays of nature, let me propitiate the nature. Karma Kanda and Jnana Kanda. Slowly, they deified the forces of nature. Indra Deva, Varuna Deva, Agni Deva, Surya Deva, Dyudottaravan, they are the causes of my survival. So I keep them in humor and they keep us blessed. This is how the two branches of Vedic literature starts. So Jnana Marga is that part of the Upanishad, that part of the Vedas known as Aranyaka and Upanishad. And the other part is known as Karma Kanda. With this introduction now, let us study the first shloka. It has taken you time, but now you have a strong footing, strong ground of understanding what is all this concept of Yaga and Yagya is. Let me read the first shloka. Tat etat satyam. This is apparently real. Why? Because the world as of now is real to me. Tat etat satyam. What? Mantreshu karmani kavayo jani apashan. Kavaya mantreshu jani apashan. This is the paraphrase. Kavaya, the knowers, those who have studied it in great detail, those who have seen through the game. Where did they find it? In mantras. Mantras are statements made in the Vedas. Do this, do this, do this, do this, do at this time, do at it such a manner, don't do it that time, don't do it in such a manner. Absolutely punctilious, detailed, thorough description. It is found in the mantras of the Vedas, Karma Kanda section. The people has read those mantras and they have seen through it and they have experienced it. Where from do they get it? Tani Tretayam Bahuda Santatani. Those mantras are to be found in the three Vedas, Rig Veda, Yajurveda, and Atharva Veda. In great detail, it is spread all over the Vedic literature in the section known as Karma Kanda. Now, if you are desirous of having it, achieving it, Tani Acharatha, you conduct your behavior pattern according to that. Let your flow of life be at par with what is instructed in the mantras, in the Vedas. Why? If you are really desirous of reaching the reality. Reality is relevant to the world. Eshava Pantha Shukritasya Loke. This is the method to achieve the good results of your good activity. That is what we know as eternal life in heaven. This is how this chapter starts. Let me read it again. Tat etat satyam. This is the apparent reality because you see the world to be real. So let me bring down the concept of reality according to your perception. You perceive this world is real. They are all mentioned in the mantras of all the Vedas. Tani Tretayam Bahuda Santatani. Bahuda, innumerable manner it has been mentioned in the three Vedas. And the Kavaya is plural. Many of them have gone through, seen through this ball game, and they tell you, if you want to realize that eternal peace in heaven, then for you that is the truth, that is the goal. You please acharata niyatam. Niyatam means in a disciplined manner and in a continuing manner. Follow the dictums of the Veda one after the other. Eshava Pantha. This is the path. Pantha is path. A road leading to Eshava Pantha Sukritasya Loke. That the work and deed that you perform in this life, guided by the Karma Kanda dictates of the Upanishad, will lead you to the results of your good work. Sukritasya. That is, Sukriti is what you perform. A good deed, Su means good. The good deeds that you perform, you will enjoy the results of the good deed in heaven. This is how the second section of the first Mundaka starts. The next shloka tells you a little indication of what is Yagya and etc. Jada lilayate archi samidhe habhyabhahane tada ajyabhago antarena ahuti pratipadayet. Ahuti pratipadayet. The grammatical use pratipadana means to place carefully. Pratipadayet means you have no freedom. Do it as I tell you. Force of discipline, freedom and responsibility going together. If you want to have freedom from this bondage, to enjoy eternal peace in heaven, joy in heaven, then be responsible and guide yourself accordingly. Ahuti pratipadayet. The offering must be given without any change. How? Lilayate archi. When you chant the Homakunda with placing the timbers in a triangular manner and then you light the fire and it fires. When it is full blown, it is in flames, then on the southeastern corner of that triangle, Dakshina Uttarena. What that means, Dakshina Uttarena means southeastern corner. Nowhere else. Ahutim pratipadayet. It gives you an inclination how precise direction the Vedas, Karma Kanda section of Vedas, give it to you. So this is an indication how it will develop. A few more shlokas he will explain to you. Then he will say, a person, because all of us are rational, and there are introverts and extroverts. An extrovert person, he sees through. I am, right from my brahmacharya ashram till my death, I am performing these rituals. I am creating a sukriti, shubha karma, and I will enjoy the results thereof. As because I am creating something by my sukriti, how can it be eternal? It is a contradiction in terms. It cannot be eternal. It may be prolonged for a long period of time, but as it is created in time, it stays in time and it will disappear in time. So how can you say that I will have Akshaya Sargavasha, eternal life in heaven? I can have a prolonged life in heaven. And after that prolonged life in heaven, enjoying the results of the fruits of good work, I have to come back again and face the same ball game. There is no fun in it. It continues in an endless cycle, alata chakra, like the water wheel of the well. It keeps on rotating. No end to it. So that will be my life. Oh dear me, I would like to get rid of it. It dawns into him to find out some other method. Is there any other method by means of which I can end this ball game? And that we will find in the 7th shloka when he says, Plavahi eta adrisha jaggarupa. We'll come to that. Dear, it's a very fascinating study. Don't think it is meaningless, it is heartless, it is not relevant. You must educate yourself to see the relevance here. In this world, I want to be rich. I want to be reputed. I want to be admired. So, I discipline myself and behave thoroughly, properly, correctly. And with all that good deed that I have done, I die and I go to enjoy the fruits of my good deed. As because I created in time, it will stay for a time and ultimately will disappear in time. I'll have to come back again and play the same game. So it becomes an endless circle of life and death. I would like to have something else. So in the end of this section, from Shloka 7 to Shloka 12, he will analyze how a Bahirmukhi Karmakandi person looks at it and finds out the fallacy of argument that what you create cannot be eternal. It will end in time. Therefore, let us find out some other way to have an eternal life in my absolute real nature. It will be in this chapter itself, in this section itself. So please bear with me. We have studied the first two. I will hurriedly go through the others because the others are of not much of philosophical significance, because I have introduced you to the subject in great detail today. We meet again next time. Thank you, dear friends. Thank you. Thank you for your patience.
Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Tat Sat Shri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu.